Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. So we'll continue with our Seerah session again. So we are on the third session. But before I continue that, at the bottom of the screen, you may be seeing the launch good, right? So we Guidance College is doing the fundraising, online fundraising. So please support Guidance College. We need your support. Even if you have to donate $1, please go ahead and donate that, because it's very, very important. The donations we are gathering is to fund the scholarships of the students, to provide the scholarships, more and more scholarships to the students, to create new courses, to establish a studio like this, a more high-tech studio than what we have right now, and to also have a building build where you can have a proper classrooms, a large number of classrooms. Brothers and sisters, this is very important. What we are learning here, what we're teaching here, is the divine knowledge, a knowledge that everyone has to have it, right? These are the fundamentals, right? Even if you don't want to do bachelor's, because Guidance College, if you all have probably don't know, or you don't know that the Guidance College offers the bachelor's program and also offer the master's program, right? But even if you don't want to do a bachelor's or a master's program, there are courses that Guidance College provide that are the fundamental courses that everyone should know of, whether it is mainly in the divine or in the religion side, or the theology side, but it gets also beyond that, like computer courses or other courses. So it is very important. Please, it's for good cause. Please support Guidance College, and you have Launch Good address going at the bottom of the screen. You can go there and donate, please. With this, we'll continue with our class or session. So last week we were talking about the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the birth of the greatest man ever walked on the surface of earth, the greatest human being that has ever walked on the surface of earth, the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called as Rahmatul Alameen, the one who has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the creator, has raised the praise in this world and hereafter. So we were talking about his birth. So we talked about his father and mother, and we said that his father name was Abdullah and his mother name was Amina. And we mentioned that when he was not even born, when his mother Amina was about 7 months pregnant with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his father went for a business trip to Syria. And while returning from the business trip, he fell sick and he passed away in Medina. Medina was a city which was not very far, but from today's perspective, but it was quite far at that time, based on the type of mode of transports they used to use. So his father Abdullah passed away before even the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, we talked about it in the last session, was born on the year of elephant, which is the year when Abraha, the king of Ethiopia, came to, not Ethiopia, king of Yemen, came to destroy the Kaaba, because he was jealous of Kaaba. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed Abraha and his army by the birds that came with the the burning stones in their beaks, and they drop on the army of Abraha, and Abraha army was destroyed. So that is the year which was a memorable year for the Quraysh, or the people of Makkah remember that year very well. And that is the year Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. It was 570 CE. It is known that he was born on Rabiul Awwal, and it is also known from a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was born on Monday of the week. But what is not very clear, what we don't know is the exact date of the month, exact date of Rabiul Awwal. Rabiul Awwal is the month of Islamic calendar. So we don't know is the exact date. Different historians, different scholars have put together a different date. For example, Ibn Ishaq has said that he was born on 12th of Rabiul Awwal. In other books, we find that he was born on the 10th of Rabiul Awwal. Some of them says other dates, like Ibn Kasir in Bidayah wa Nihaya mentioned a different date, so on. So, but he was born. Was very the majority opinion is that he was born on Rabiul Awwal, but the date is a question. So, as we said, he was born while his father has been passed away. So he was born as orphan. Okay, and when he was born, there are numerous stories about his birth. Some of them are authentic, some of them are not authentic. For the sake of this class, we will be only discussing the authentic story. So the authentic narration that comes out is from Irbad ibn Sariya and Abu Imama, who said that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "I am the supplication of my father Ibrahim and the good tidings of my brother Jesus or Isa salam. The night I was delivered, my mother saw a light that lit the castles of Damascus so that she could see them." So this is a authentic narration where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is describing or telling the companions that his mother might have told somebody who was, especially the nurses around her, that she has seen the light that lit the castle. It goes out from her, and it lit the castles of Damascus, and she saw that. And there's another narration you found, which is also authentic, that she saw the stars coming down very close to her. So she saw that as well. While giving the birth to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Amina, his mother, never felt a pain at all. Even before, the birth, while carrying him, he never felt a pain at all. He was born, as we said, as an orphan, and he came into the care of his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. His grandfather was Abdul Muttalib. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, gave his servant, Ayman, the lady. This lady, she was a slave of Abdul Muttalib, and Abdul Muttalib gave her to take care of the young Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and to help Amina in the shores. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ very used to love Ayman, right? Because Ayman was like her mother. So very later on, in the time of Medina period, when he was all grown up, and in his he was an adult man, he did mention about Ayman, and he said that Ayman was next to my mother, or because his mother also passed away, and we'll talk about this in a very few minutes, that her mother also passed away. But after his mother passed away, Ayman took care of him. So Ayman became like a mother to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as well. Ayman, by the way, also nursed Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. She was also a wet nurse of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So in Makkah at that time, there was a tradition, there was a culture practice that when a baby is born, the baby in the noble families who can afford, they afford to send, or they are a little bit wealthy, they used to send their babies to grow or to spend few years of their life away from the city life. Now, remember, Makkah is a city, right? Makkah is a city where a lot of people come from all over the world. They used to come mainly for the Hajj or Umrah, because of the sacred Kaaba that was there, because the practice of Prophet Abraham built the Kaaba. So the practice, and he's the one who started the Hajj, the practice of Hajj, and he's the one, and his son Ismail are the one who started the practice of Hajj and Umrah. So the people were coming for the Hajj and Umrah. They have changed the rituals, as we said, but they used to come for the Hajj and Umrah. It was well known for years to be the sacred place. And as the religion has been changed from the monotheism that Abraham has followed, into a pagan worshipping now, they still honor the or still considered Kaaba as the sacred place. So they used to come there. So because of the people coming from various places, um, the city, it being a city, there were city challenges, the challenges that the city normally face. So the people of the city, especially, you can remember, you can understand at that time there was no medicine, was not so advanced, right? So the people coming from outside the city, they used to bring the diseases with them. Okay, and that normally cause problems with the young born babies, because their immune system is not developed, so they used to catch the diseases. So the death rate of the babies was very high. And the scholar says, because of that, maybe because of this reason, one of the reason at least, the people of Makkah have this practice to send their babies to grow for a few years outside the Makkah in a village. Okay, and there were tribes, or there were these villagers who used to do this for a business as well. They used to come to the city of Makkah, and they take the people's baby, and they do a contract that they will take care of the baby for so many years, of 3 years, of 2 years, or whatever years, and they will be paid for that, and the person who's may also gift them as well, right? So it was a source of income for these poor villagers or poor tribal people, or small tribes who were scattered in and around of Makkah. So that's one reason. The other reason people say is it could be because the city was uh, was the language, the Arabic language, was being influenced, or was being corrupted by the other languages coming in there, right? The people come from different part of the world, as we say, from Yemen, from Ethiopia, from Syria, and other places. So they bring along with them their vocabulary as well, and the Arabic vocabulary got mixed with that, with the other vocabulary, and that's why the pure Arabic, they lose the pure Arabic essence. And so that's why they also want the kids to have more of a good, or a good Arabic, and that's why they wanted to raise their babies, first few years, when the babies or kids absorb most of the vocabulary, to grow outside the city, in the village, where they build the Arabic language. And some scholars also say that they used to send them because they want them to face the hardship, because in city you are kind of pampered. You have they have the family was there, your uncles and aunts and all, and they were pampering you, and you were and if you were part of a rich family or a noble family at that of Makkah, then you are also being not facing as many hardship as an individual who grew in a small village will face, right? So they want their kids to actually face that hardship, so that they can be ready for the future, if they have to face any hardship with, in other words, to mature or to get wisdom faster than the otherwise they would have got if they would have been raised in the Makkah. So there is a narration of which tells us that this tribe called Saad, the Banu Saad tribe, came to Makkah, right? And from the Banu Saad, there was a lady called Halima bint Saadia, was it called. He came to Makkah for the same reasons. For her, it can be considered as a business, to come to the Makkah to get the babies, okay, and and raise the baby in the village. So she, along with her tribe and other ladies, came there. Halima was going through some financial difficulties. They were all poor people, but Halima was maybe more poorer than them, and she was almost a broke. While coming towards Makkah, her animal, or donkey on which she was riding, also got injured, and she reached Makkah late compared to other ladies or other women of her place. And when she reached Makkah, by that time, all the other ladies have already got the contracts for the babies. So Halima looked for the contract. She was told that there was this lady Amina, who has this newborn in her house, but her Amina's husband has passed away. So Halima, like any other ladies of Banu Sa'd, probably have thought that, well, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or this baby is an orphan baby, so she probably would not get that kind of money as the others would have pay her. So she did not go at first to Amina. But when Halima couldn't find any baby and was time to return back to her place, she thought for a second, and maybe Allah put into her heart that, rather than going without any business, why don't I just meet Amina? So she went with them and met Amina, and she said she agreed to take care of the baby for for a small period of time, about 3 years, 3 to 4 years. I will take care of the baby, and the contract was signed, basically. And then Halima uh, started her journey back from Makkah to her place, to her tribe. On the way, Halima started noticing some strange, blessings coming to her, like the donkey who was injured while she was coming towards the Makkah. Its wound recovered. So donkey is no longer, is all active and healthy, and actually faster than she even have thought of her animal. So she was surprised with that. And then when she reached home, she realized that there are numerous blessings of Allah started coming towards her. Like, for example, all her sheep and goats and camels, whatever she has in her family, they started giving more milk. She started. They got the rain in the area which normally was dry, and that area got enough rain, or they started getting enough rain there, and they can grow some vegetables now. And you can see there were greenery there, there were flowers there, and it seems like she realized that there is something special about this baby, and she related all those blessings with this baby, which was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she was very happy. So when the contract got over, okay, the 3 years contract got over, she decided to to go back and convince to extend the contract for another 3 years. So she went back, she came to Amina, and she said to Amina that she would like to extend the contract. And she negotiated, she insisted, because she doesn't want all those blessings to go away. And Amina agreed, and the contract was decided for another 3 years. With that contract, Halima returned back again, and now Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is about 3 to 4 years old. He came back to the tribe of Banu Sa'd. He was living with them. By the way, Halima bint Sa'diya, she also used to breastfeed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. So she was also one of the wet nurse for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the year 4 or 5, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, a strange thing happens. Actually, around like 6 years maybe he was, when a strange thing happened, that he was playing out with the other kids of the Banu Sa'd tribe. It's mainly Halima's children. He was playing outside. There was open field, playing outside with animals in and around. And when two angels came, okay, and Angel Jibril was there in it. He came and he took hold of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, and the other children also saw what's happening, and Angel Jibril put him on the ground. So this is Angel Jibril, right? Angel Jibril, he put him on the ground, and he cut open his chest, and he took out the heart of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the chest of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and remove a black blood clot from it, and then washed that heart into a golden basin, okay, filled with zamzam, and then put that back into his chest, and then restored it, okay. The boys who were playing with Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when they saw all this happening, they ran. They got frightened. They got scared. They ran to their mother, and and shouting and crying and saying that some people have murdered Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the Halima and her family, they ran out. And when they came to the spot where Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was, and they found him that he's all okay, but they do saw a small mark on his chest. Now Halima got really scared, okay? And because she was having a responsibility of someone, of Amina, right? She got really scared, and next day she decided to return Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam back to Amina. So she went back to Mecca, and she returned the baby Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to Amina. It's no longer a baby now; it's a toddler, right? He's around like 5 or 6 years old, as I said. So that point, she left. So now Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came into the care of Amina, and of course Ayman was there as well, taking care of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. At the age of 6, when he was just barely 6 years old, right, just few months later after he came back to Mecca, Amina, who was actually originally from Medina, her parents were from Medina. She went with Ayman and Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to Medina to visit her parents. On the way, Amina passed away, and Ayman actually buried Amina on the way as well. So now you can imagine Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lost both his father and the mother. Both of them has passed away. So now he came into the care of Abdul Muttalib full time, right? He was spending more and more time with Abdul Muttalib, his grandfather. And his grandfather used to love him. He does not want Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to leave us even a little bit of a sight of his. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was always in and around him. And when he don't see him, he got really worried. But look at that. I mean, you can imagine, how young he was. He was 6 years old, and he has already lost both of his parents, right? And not only that, when he turns into 8 years old, so 2 years after that, he also lost his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. Okay, so he again become an orphan. So you can imagine how much hardship he is already going through at the young age. I mean, losing a parent, even at this age that I am, is a heavy loss. It's a big loss, right? You can imagine from a child perspective, how difficult it would be. Okay. Now, why did Allah decide to make him orphan? I mean, Allah could have raised him in a big palace. Allah could have given him parents and grandparents and uncles and aunties and all around him, and a big family, and to take care of him. Or in other words, he would have grown up as with people in and around him, and all happy and no hardship at all. It could have been possible, right? Why? Multiple reasons. First of all, Allah wanted to build the qualities in Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He wants to build the quality of wisdom in him. He wants to, because when people become orphan, or when people doesn't have a parents, then they see the sense of responsibility. They mature fast as well. Okay, they become independent also very fast. Okay, that plus also Allah wants him to become more selfless. Normally, people who grew up with their parents and are in a rich family, they got pampered, and they got they grow up with the very selfish. And this is kind of a sad reality, that the kids growing in the rich families with all the luxuries around them, they are the ones who are more selfish. When the people who are like orphans or facing hardship, when they grow up, they become more selfless. They do more charity, because they know the they have seen the hardship, right? They've seen being orphan, they have seen being poor, right? So they know, they have gone through it, and they experience that. So that's why they become more they give more generous, or become more they give more charity. to others. But besides all that, it's also because Allah wants to make everyone know that this child, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is no one is taking care of him. I am the one. It is my responsibility. I will take care of him. Okay. Yes, he's getting the love of, he got a short period of love of Abdul Muttalib and Amina, and later on he'll come into the care of Abu Talib. But Allah is the one. It is his responsibility, and he will take care of him. So in other words, it's not like later on when Prophet Muhammad will become, the prophet, and and become the most influential or most powerful person of the world. There is no one to claim that it's because of him or her that he's at this place, right? Not even his parents, not over his grandparents, right? That as well. Just like Prophet Muhammad took care of Musa alayhi salam or Moses. For Moses, if you remember Moses go through the hardship as well. He have to leave his parents, and he grew up in the house of Pharaoh, right? And then he was turned out by the Pharaoh as well, and he has to save his life. So he has to go through the hardships as well, just like that Prophet Muhammad was going through a hardship as well. But his hardship, by far you will see, was the most extreme hardship that you can think of. So now he came into the care of his uncle Abu Talib. Now Abu Talib already have many children, and he was already struggling financially with the other children, right? So now he has his nephew, Prophet Muhammad also part of his household. But Abu Talib, he did not leave any, any gap in the love towards Prophet Muhammad. He provided all the love and care that he could to Prophet Muhammad wasallam, and you will see that because Abu Talib lived a long life. Now Prophet Muhammad is growing, and he grew about 20 years old, and during this period he was well recognized to have a perfect character. He was being recognized of being honest. He's being recognized for being trustworthy. He was recognized of of the one who is gentle with the people. He was being recognized for so many ways he was recognized. So he was already well known in the city of Makkah for his character. And then an incident happened called the incident of Hilfil Fudul. What happened in this incident? There was this man who came to Makkah for Hajj. Okay, he came from Yemen, and he then people used to come from Yemen, other places to Makkah. They also came. He came with the intention of Hajj, but they also come with another intention of doing some business as well. So he brought some goods with him, which he thought he can trade in Makkah. So, or you can sell them in Makkah. So in Makkah, he met this person called Al-As ibn Wa'il, who was actually the father of Amr ibn Al-As. Al-As ibn Wa'il, he started doing the business dealing or business transaction with this individual, and he said, okay, you know what, you can leave the goods here, and they decided how much the cost of this good would be, and he said, you go and do the Hajj, and when you're done with the Hajj rituals, you can come to me and I can give you the money, right? So this guy agreed. But when the Hajj was finished and this guy came to Al-As ibn Wa'il and asked for his money, Al-As ibn Wa'il refused to give it to him, or started postponing it, right? Saying tomorrow or tomorrow or tomorrow, and he just keep postponing that or delaying it. And when this person realized that this person, Al-As ibn Wa'il, is cheating him, he started becoming angry and upset. So he went to the other tribal leaders of the Makkah and complained about them, about this person, Al-As ibn Wa'il. By the way, Al-As ibn Wa'il was also one of the leader of the tribe. So they did not take any action. When he become very frustrated, then he went to a mountain called Abul Qubais, and he went there and he started making a poetry from there. And that was the time. At that time, as we said before, the people of Makkah most of them were illiterate, right? But the one thing that they have in them was the poetry, and they were crazy about poetry. They are very good in poetry, and they were crazy about it, and that was the means of communication, or the news. The news was broadcasted through the poetry. So he went to this mountain and started complaining about, look what has happened to me. This person, Al-As ibn Wa'il, has cheated me, and have raised a complaint to the people of Mecca, the leaders of the Mecca, and nobody took an action. And so he started making a noise from the mountain top, and people started hearing that, and they realized that this is, and there's something wrong happening here. There's an oppression happening there. And it was a big deal for the Quraysh leaders, because the Quraysh leaders were known, because they were the custodians of the Mecca, or Kaaba. They were supposed to be, honest and just and trustworthy, right? So they become worried, because what would the world will think about them? So they decided to have a meeting. So they met in the house of Abdullah bin Jadan, and in that meeting they invited all the tribal leaders, and also invited Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was just 20 years old, roughly around 20 years old at that time, and he was not even a tribal leader. So the question arises, why he was invited under tribal leaders for this issue? And the answer for that, the historian says, is because Prophet Muhammad was known for his trustworthy and about his character, as we just mentioned. Because of that reason, he was being given a status that he can sit into these elder gatherings, okay, or the elderly gatherings. And he was there in this gathering, and in that gathering they made the decision that we will make sure that this person get the justice, and this person get the money back of his goods, and from now onwards we will make sure that no one will be oppressed, no one will be cheated in Mecca. And they actually wrote a treaty or a pledge, and they signed on that treaty and pledge. Later on, way later on, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he grew up, and he, in the time of Medina, right? So you can imagine about 20, 30, 35 years later, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually remembered that, and he said, this is a narration in the hadith, he said that I witnessed an agreement in the house of Abdullah bin Jadan. It was more appealing to me than herds of cattle. So he's mentioning about this incident of Hilful Fidul, and he's saying that it was more dear to him than the herds of cattle. Herds of cattle, you can imagine, one cattle, this is he talking about the camel. One camel costs a lot of money, and he's saying it that if what does it mean by that? He mean by that is that if people give me so much money, right, and say not to participate in that gathering, I would not have done that. I would have still gone I would have refused the money. I would have still gone to that gathering, and would have, and I'm happy that I was part of it. And he said that even now in the period of Islam, because now he's already become a prophet, and he has already been, become an Islam was rising at that time. And he said, even now in the period of Islam, I would respond positively to attending such a meeting if I were invited. So in other words, he recognized what he did in the time of Jahaliya, or in the time of ignorance, in the time when he was not even a prophet, or what he did, right, when he was not even a Muslim. From just this incident, there's a lot of lessons to learn. One lesson we learn is that he was involved in the community. He was involved in the society. Okay, he was not just living a life away from the society. He was part of the society. He was involved in the day-to-day decision making, and also he was involved in all good causes early on, and he prays to be part of that good causes. And it also, from we got from this narration, is that it doesn't matter whether it is standing up for the Muslims or not standing up for the Muslims. Anywhere any oppression is going on, you have to stand up. You have to stand up for the rights of every individual, regardless he's a Muslim or non-Muslim. because certain things are universal, right? The rights are universal, human rights are universal. So if the human rights violation is happening, then you need to step up and you have to speak out against it no matter what. Okay, so we can relate this to our present time, that in our present time, if we find any human rights violations going on anywhere, we have to speak up. And our religion says that, our book says that, and our religion says, the least, I mean, the best thing is to stop the oppression happening. If you can't stop the physically, to stop the oppression happening, then try to speak out against it. And speaking out against means speaking out with your voice, speaking out through writing. And then if you can't even do that, then the least thing is at least you feel bad about it into your heart, right? So that we should all remember. Also, we should remember that, because of these things that he was involved in, right, people took him secretly, or not secretly, people took him seriously, right? They considered him they serious, and that is the reason when he started giving dawah, people did not rejected him right away, because they knew that this person was already, his character is very good. He was involved into our society, in our community. So what he's saying in terms of giving dawah or the message of Islam, it means something, right? So for present time as well, for us, the best dawah is to be involved in the community and doing and standing up for the justice. And so we should volunteer as much as possible in our community. Now, let's come to his early job. So his first job was a job of shepherd. Again, he was not very rich, as we said, right? He has lost his parents. He was living in the house of Abu Talib. Abu Talib is not a very rich person. From the power perspective, he was rich. I mean, power perspective, he was strong, but financially, he was not very strong. So his job was shepherd, and and you can imagine how the job of a shepherd, right? Which a young man in 20s is doing, what his job would be, right? Taking out goats and sheeps in the farms, on the land, open land, for grazing, and spending hours and hours there, sitting with them, take them in the morning, bring them in the night, right? How difficult it would be for any individual to do that, right? And that was his job. But he sincerely did his job. And it is also, if you look at the previous prophets also has a similar job, actually the same job, like Dawood alayhi salam, or David alayhi salam, he was also a shepherd. Okay, we also know that Moses was a shepherd. Okay, when he ran from the Pharaoh place before he got the prophethood, he was a shepherd. He was taking care of goats and sheep um, um, in the land, right? So he was, after he ran away from Egypt, so he was a shepherd. So this is a sunnah. It seems like it's a sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not Prophet, it's a sunnah of prophets to do this job. So something is unique about this job. What is this unique about this job? And scholars discuss. Some says because this job build you, or you build your character, or build you to be a leader. How? They said, number one, you become very humble. So the kind of this such a difficult job, you become humble. You show humbleness to the others, and you show the humbleness to take care of the goats and sheep. But and then you grow up, and you learn from it, and you do the same kind of humbleness towards the other people. This is a very dedicated job, so you become, you learn from it. You also develop a link with the animals, and just like the human beings are different, the animals are different. Just like human beings are, some of them are gentle, some of them are harsh, some of them are arrogant, some of them are easygoing. Similarly, the animals are like that. The sheep and goats are also like that. So when you take care of sheep and goats, you learn something from them, right? You also get an opportunity to interact with the mother nature, right? You are spending a lot of time just in the open land, in the nature, letting these animals to graze, and you are thinking and contemplating about on various things after that. Maybe thinking and contemplating about your own existence, why you exist, what's the purpose of you in this world? What's the purpose of you in this life, right? You think about that, because if you are busy, for example, in today's world, when kids are so busy and they grew up with the computer games and videos and movies and whatnot, right, and social medias and all that, they do not have that time to think and contemplate. Okay, and you and that is something which is very important for the individual. It's very important for any individual to think and contemplate about various things. Mainly, one of the number one thing is to think about why he exists, what's his purpose, and to find out that what his purpose in the life is. So that and also it from this his job, it seems like we learn from his, we the reason, he Allah willed for them, for the prophets to do this job, is to they learn how to face the hardship. Okay, and they learn how to make it their own living. Okay, no matter how difficult the job would be. And Allah also wanted to show to the world that you can rise from the lowest of the lowest position to the highest position, just like in case of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His job was the lowest of the lower job you can think of, shepherd, right? But he becomes the leader of the ummah, leader of the nation, right? And so it is also because of that. So now Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is about 25 years, 24, 25 years old, right? And he, as I said, he was a shepherd, and he got the job of um, this lady called Hala, and Hala was a sister of Khatija. Khatija, who was Khatija? Khatija was a rich woman. She has prior to marriages, and both the marriages, either one of them, I think one of them result into a divorce, and one of them, her husband passed away, or in both the cases, husband passed away. So she was a widowed woman, and her husband has left, or previous husband has left a lot of wealth with her. So she was doing the business with that wealth. She used to send the caravan to Syria, and again to sell, to take some goods from Mecca to Syria, and bring the goods from Syria and sell in Mecca. So that was a major business, that besides the touring, besides the Hajj, or the religious business, or the Hajj and Umrah business, that was the main business of the people of Quraysh. So she was involved in that, but because she could not herself go into these journeys, in these trade journeys or business journeys, the people she used to hire, they used to cheat her. Okay, and she did not used to get enough profit from from these trades, right? So she was also looking for somebody more trustworthy from the business perspective, right? So her sister Hala has herds of sheep, goats and sheep, and she hired Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and another man to take care of them. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do that. One day, Khadija was visiting her sister's house, and the other person that was also a shepherd, right? He came to Hala's house, and came for the money, right? For the work that Prophet Muhammad SAW and him he has done. So he came to ask for that, and Hala was about to give the money, and Khatija said, "But where is the other person? Where is the other person who's also part of this contract?" So Hala told Khatija that this other person, his name is Muhammad, and she has never seen a person like that. He's very shy or modest, and he does not want to come and ask money to a lady. He is he and she praised about his honesty. She praised about a lot of other things about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khatija felt like this may be a right person to take care of her business, or to take the caravan to Syria. So Khatija decided to employ or to give an offer to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She gave the offer to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after consulting with Abu Talib, accepted the offer, and he took the the next caravan of of Khadija to Syria. Khadija also sent her servant Maisara with Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Maisara took a journey with Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and when he came back to Khadija. He praised Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tremendously. He said that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an amazing personality, and also the Prophet was doubled than the Prophet that Khadija used to have, right? And with all that praise and all that things that Khadija was seeing, Khadija fell in love with Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Khadija sent the proposal to Abu Talib for Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam marriage. And Abu Talib discussed with his nephew and gave him the permission to marry Khadija, or gave his approval or advice to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to marry Khadija. And this is how Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married Khadija. Now, Khadija might be his age, her age is a question. Majority opinion says that her age was 40, while Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam age was about 25. So Khadija was older than Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, and also this is the first marriage of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Khadija had married two more husbands before who have been passed away. So what we learn from this is, one of the things we learn from this is the story of Khadija marriage is that, for the women or for people in general, what matters the most, specifically for the ladies, especially when they're looking for a husband, what matters to the lady is the husband or the would-be husband to be modest, honest, trustworthy. These are the qualities that are well recognized by the ladies, and these are the right things that they should look for in their husband. And just like Khadija found that quality in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So through Khadija radiallahu anha, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has most of his children. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has total of 7 children. 6 of them were from Khadija. So from the children from Khadija, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has Qasim, okay, who died at the age of 6 to 7 years old. Okay, when he was 6 to 7 years old, he passed away. Then Zainab, then Ruqayya, then Kulsum, then Fatima, and then Abdullah, Tahir and Tayyib. Abdullah is also called Tahir and Tayyib. And then from another wife, way later on, from another wife, Maria, radiallahu anha, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has Ibrahim. Okay, now his sons, Qasim passed away at 6-7 years old, Abdullah passed away at a very young age, and Ibrahim passed away when he was just 18 months old too. So all 3 sons passed away at a very early age. Among his daughters, Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulsum passed away during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fatima was the only one who was alive when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. Okay, but even for her, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that she's going to pass away in few months after his death. Okay, so you can see, Prophet saw the death of pretty much all of his children in front of him. You can imagine losing one child is so difficult for the parents, right? How difficult it is if you lose one child, right? But in case of Prophet Muhammad, he lost all of his children except one, Fatima. So you can imagine the kind of hardship that he has to go through. You can, so if someone complains about his hardship, then he or she should look into the hardship that Prophet Muhammad faced during his lifetime. Why Allah gave him the hardship? Allah gave him the hardship again to have, when you go through the hardship, you build a strong connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You realize who you are and who Allah is, because you don't have anything in your control. So, like, for example, in this time period of COVID-19, right, that we are going through, a lot of people are going through the hardship. They're going through the hardship of either they're losing someone in their family, or they're sick, or they are financially broke, or they're just being locked down. So these are the hardship, right? During this hardship is a time you reflect and you realize who you are. Okay, you realize that you have no power in your hand. You realize that all the power is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the things that, these are the ways the hardship should bring us close to the creator. And this is how you establish a strong connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You This also teaches Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and through us as well, that that life is really a trial. In this life you will go through the challenges, you will go through the hardship, you will go through difficult times, you will see people dying in front of you, or you will be dying in front of others. It is the part of the life. You have to go through it. This life is not going to be the bed of roses. It's going to be a difficult life. And what we can relate this, our hardship, with the hardship of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that this is how you can relate that when the greatest human being, the human being that Allah loved the most, has to go through so severe hardship, then our hardship is nothing compared to that. It develops the sabr and patience in us, right? You will develop the sabr and patience. And remember, Allah says in Quran, when Allah mentioned about the hardships, right, in the Surah Baqarah, one of the reason Allah is telling is for giving this hardship is to develop among ourselves the quality, a noble quality of sabr, patience. Okay, as if all these hardship are for our benefit, to develop this noble quality of patience. So that now I'll come to one more incident, and then we'll stop, inshallah. What happened is, when he was the age of 35 years, right, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 35 years old, Kaaba got destroyed. Kaaba got destroyed. It was partially destroyed by fire, and then flood also destroyed it further. And the people of Makkah, Quraysh, has to rebuild the Kaaba. So they divided, and there was, everybody wants to take the ownership or honor of, of building the Kaaba, and everyone wants that honor. So among themselves, they decided that, this part of the wall, this tribal leader will build, or this tribe will build, because Quraysh was like multiple tribes within a tribe, right? So they divided the portions of the wall accordingly, and they build the Kaaba. But when it comes for them to place the black stone, right, the argument broke out that who is going to put the black stone there. Okay, and it comes to the point that they're about to fight with each other physically on that specific issue of who is going to place the black stone near the Kaaba, right, or next to Kaaba, right? So they were discussing among themselves, and they decided to do a kind of a bet, and they said that, okay, whoever, and they were sitting in this meeting, they were gathering, and they were discussing about it. All the tribal leaders were sitting in this gathering and discussing, and they said, there's anybody who will enter in this door from now, right? The first person will enter from this door, and that person will make a decision. Okay, let's leave it to that. Rather than fighting among ourselves, let's come to this decision. And they all agreed to this decision. Okay, whoever will enter from this door is the one who is going to place the black stone into it. And what they saw is that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was entering from that door. And when they saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, most of them were very happy, and actually all of them were very happy, because they thought that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will choose them, because they thought that, he's so honest and trustworthy and all that, and he's so caring, and he's so loving, and everybody used to think that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked them the most, right? So they were assuming that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will choose him. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and discussed the matter, and then he came with the idea, and he said, bring up a big a blanket or a big cloth of peace, and he asked all the tribal leaders to hold the cloths from the sides, and he himself put the black stone on the piece of cloth, and he said, okay, take this cloth close to the Kaaba, and I will place it next to the Kaaba. And he did that. So that happened. So what happened is the what we see from the story is the Kaaba was built, and he also, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, was also able to unite the tribes who were about to fight among themselves. But there is a symbolism here. There's a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this incident, and scholars says that this is one of the sign. The sign is that the the rebuilding of Kaaba was the sign of rebuilding the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, that now a prophet has come, and he is going to rebuild the religion that has been corrupted by the people, and it will be again bring it to the Islamic monotheism, right? It'll be back to the pure religion, the religion of Allah, and will remove. So, in other words, all the corruption will be removed. So, a change is about to come. There were indication of change coming all over. We talked about the Kaaba rebuilding. There are people already waiting for a prophet to come, because the people, like for example, Salman al-Farisi, who was a Christian monk, and his story is amazing. He was waiting, and his Christian, you know, clergy, or the Christian um, popes, or whoever you call it, the senior religious people have told him that a prophet is going to come, and they actually have told them and give them the hint that this is the place he's going to come. So he has reached the place of Medina. Okay, and he was waiting for a prophet to come in Medina. In Medina, there were Jews already there waiting for a prophet to come, and the Jews were expecting the prophet will come from their tribe or from their family. So they were waiting there. And in addition to that, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started experiencing, and he's like 40 years old now. He's 40 years old, and he started experiencing some strange thing happening to him. 6 months before he become a prophet, he started hearing rocks saying salam to him. He's walking, and the rock will say assalamu alaikum. And he was surprised, and he got worried. Then another strange thing started noticing was that his dreams, whatever dream he saw in the night, that dream comes to true in the day. So the dreams are coming true. Okay, he got very surprised and strange with and nervous with that as well, that something is happening. And he used to actually meditate. He used to go and sit in the cave of in one of the in one of the mountains. There's a cave, and he used to sit in that cave of Hira. He used to sit there, and he used to face towards the Makkah, and he used to contemplate. And sometimes he used to spend days there, days and nights there, right? He used to take the food with him. Khatija used to pack the food for him, and he used to take the food, and he used to sit there and contemplate or meditate. And he saw a light and heard a sound 2 days before he become a prophet. And we will stop here, and inshallah we will talk about his prophethood from the next session. But before I finish, I do wanted to stress again that please, please, please support Guidance College. You can support many ways. You can support by registering the courses in the Guidance College. You can go online. There are wonderful courses offered by Guidance College. You can register for the summer semester. You can also support by giving donation. You can donate any amount of money, even $1 will help, on the Launch Good address that you just see coming down at the bottom. This donation is going to help the students, is going to be utilized for the scholarship of the students, is going to be utilized to build the building, the campus. It will be also utilized to structure additional courses. It will be also utilized to have the sessions like these, to have a studio like that, or actually not like that, to have a more better studio than this what we are using right now. Jazakallahu khair. May Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.